Greetings, my fellow Decepticons. Megatron84 here with a review of Pacific Rim. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm telling you right now, go see it. If you have seen it, cool, you're down ahead. The movie's just ridiculous. I've been saying before the movie came out that I was hoping it would literally just be like Independence Day, but you add in giant robots and giant monsters. And wow, was I right on the nose with that one. It was all the absurdity that it could be. The action was ridiculously over the top. The characters, the plot, and the narrative were as rote as you could be. Literally straight out of the Roland Emmerich playbook. Yeah. And Guillermo has proven himself to be able to do deeper stuff with stuff like Pan's Labyrinth and so forth. But those movies are about something. This movie isn't. You know, the monsters or the robots in this, they're not some sort of metaphorical stand-in or representation of, you know, some social issue of the time, like some have been, like, that we have had in the past. This is just giant robots, giant monsters, fight! And they fight. Ridiculously well, too. The action sequences are just so well done. They're so artistic. It's so just raw sensory stimulus. And that's what it should be. Unlike stuff like Transformers, where the action set pieces and the actual action scenes themselves are somewhat backdrops for what the human characters are doing. Well, we don't get that in this. We get actual full in-shot, in-focus, well, you know, and not shaky-cammed. A robot punching a monster, and a monster biting the arm off a goddamn giant robot. And it's glorious. You know, this movie is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's exactly what we have been told it is, and does not fail to live that in any way, shape, or form. You find there's some really cool concepts in this, like the whole neural link, how it takes two guys to pilot a Jaeger, which is what the giant robots are called. They're called Jaegers. And like each country kind of has their own. The Americans have one, the Japanese have one, the Australians have one, the Russia has one, China has one. You know, it's kind of it's a kind of global effort here, or at least it was. By like the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's like 5 years later, and they're kind of canceling and mothballing the Jaeger program in favor of building giant coastal walls, because, you know, that works. You know, it's just, it seemed like a knock on Edward Gareth, the guy who's doing the upcoming Legendary Pictures Godzilla movie. It seemed like a knock on him with their whole, they contained the alien monster octopus menace with building a giant wall around Mexico, which was a whole immigration thing. And like we see a point where part of the wall's finished in I think Australia, and it just gets fucking wrecked in like, I think on the news they said it's like it broke through in an hour, but you see 10 seconds worth, and it just smashes, the monster just smashes through this damn thing, and everybody's just like, fuck, maybe we do need giant robots to save our asses. And yeah, it's the idea of the neural link between the two pilots. It's called, like, they call them drift, I think. And the idea of that, like, they're sharing one mind at the same time. They feel each other's, they go through each other's memories, and they feel each other's pain and emotions in the moment and everything. I think it's an interesting concept, and I think they do a decent amount of stuff with it. Not too much, and what they do is kind of like, well, you know, you could have seen that coming. English 101 or creative writing 101 student would have come up with it. Well, you know, you need a baseline for this kind of a movie, for it's just to, you know, here's some characters, here's a traditional thing that you've seen a million times done before in action movies, now on to the fight, and just carnival, and go on the roller coaster ride, and it's great. Yeah, there's all the stereotypical Roland Emmerich tropes are here. You got the guy, the main character who used to be a pilot, and then his brother died, like in the very beginning, like 5 years ago. His brother died with him, he was on a mission, piloting one, fighting a monster, and his brother died during it, and they were still connected, and so he felt all of his like fear and helplessness and pain and death, and so that kind of, I don't want to do this anymore because that's fucked up kind of thing. And then 5 years later, he comes back in the project because Idris Elba, who's kind of like in charge of all, he's like, we need you. And he's like, well, I don't know if I really want to do it. He's like, well, we need you. Would you rather die here in this hole? Or would you rather die out there fighting? He's like, well, I guess fighting. You're like, right on. Get your ass in the chopper and let's go. Kill some giant monsters. And so, he's reluctant. And then there's a new hotshot out of Australia, one of the pilots of the Australian one. He's like, you're a has-been and you blew it, and we don't need you. I can do this by myself, of course. And then, like, his, father, who's his co-pilot, he's like, just, my son can be a douche. And, the Japanese girl, who's like, I want to be a pilot. And like, well, she's going to end up piloting with the main character. Of course they do. 10 minutes later, they're piloting together or whatever. Like all the kind of standard tropes are here. You got Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia playing one of the crazy scientists. It was kind of the Brent Spiner in Independence Day one. And then you have another one who's paired with him, which I don't know the actor's name, but I know him as Le Chiffre from Casino Royale. He's in that too, and they have this ridiculous, over-the-top, goofy, retarded, scientist dynamic or whatever. It works, though. I mean, it's stupid, and they don't necessarily explain a lot, but it works. But you find out in the movie that the monsters are actually a clone army of some sort created by aliens who, and I mentioned before, Independence Day, right out of the Independence Day playbook where they go to a planet, strip mine all of its resources, and then move on. And they actually, at the very end, you get a glimpse of what they look like, kind of, and they look very much like the Independence Day aliens with this big crest on the back, kind of reminiscent of like a Triceratops or something like that. But the movie, the plot, the narrative, and the characters, they're baseline at best. They're tropes. Anybody could have written them as they are, but that's fine. We're not here for that. It's a good. If you just shut your brain off and just go with it and just enjoy the ride, then it's a really satisfying ride. I'll say that much. I went to go see it at midnight, actually with the crowd from the 20th annual Godzilla Fest here in Chicago. And that was the crowd to see it with. Because everybody was just cheering and just like, fuck, I kick his ass, and woo! The whole time, and it was great. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a great movie. If you like Independence Day or stuff like that, a lot of Roland Emmerich stuff, where if you can just turn your brain off, actually a lot like the first G.I. Joe movie, if you can just shut your brain off and just go with it and just enjoy the ride, it's a lot of fun. And I highly recommend it. I'm going to go see it again Saturday with a bunch of my friends. And yeah, recap to the magic and whatnot. So, yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Go see it. It's not perfect. It's got a lot of problems and plot holes, but, so do all these kinds of movies. So, yeah, but, just turn your brain off and don't think about it too hard and just enjoy the visual stimulus. And, yeah, I will see you guys next time.